How's it been in the watch industry lately? Especially we saw Watches and Wonders just ended, pre-owned, pre and post COVID. How's it been?
Um, Talking about Watches and Wonders very briefly, some really nice and interesting releases, and we look forward to seeing how those releases would come into the pre-owned market at some point, so we're excited about that. COVID, that's a different conversation entirely. That is one hell of a topic, but I would just share a little bit about it. The thing about COVID that we saw those astronomical prices, it didn't start during COVID. It started at least 5 years before COVID, minimum. The brands where there was a lot of popularity at that time for watch collectors, people started understanding, the luxury watch world more than they did before. Unlike, we had watch lovers, avid watch collectors in the space, people who enjoyed the craft, but things started changing because there were endorsements from celebrities, more watch connoisseurs in the market, more access to a lot of, we call them the Henrys, who have access to funding, who have got into a tax bracket that they can afford a lot of these luxury goods, now understanding the watch world and wanting to acquire these as a status symbol. And so we saw that trend, and there were wait lists from brands like Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe. They were already doing these wait lists, and there were some exclusive models that were not readily available. There was a shortage in supply and there was a high demand for them. And COVID-19 was just the catalyst to just fuel the combustion, so we say, or rather it was the fuel that was added to the fire.
I also feel that crypto, the whole crypto rise, contributed to the increase in price. Although we saw the bubble burst, eventually, and prices are becoming more reasonable, with some brands. Yes, you still have the very exclusive models that one way or the other would remain, exclusive. We see the Daytonas doing very well.
Yes.
We see the Nautilus, after being discontinued. I think we'll still have, trends post-COVID that are realistic and non-realistic. And for me, having this conversation is good so that our audience can also understand the pricing structure, of watches, the realistic pricing structure, because we've seen an influx of hustlers. Everybody wants to go where the big box is. Everybody wants to, sell watches all of a sudden, and it's a consign for our market,
And in the recent years, so this is what you were asking me about COVID, and because of that explosion of the market, there were institutional investors who invested money into the market and created this bubble, speculative bubble, saying if I invest this money in this watch, the prices are going to increase and then I will make a ton of money. But the truth is there's only so much that the value, there's only a range for which the prices can increase. And you coming into the market when the prices are already at the all-time high, you're definitely going to lose. And when the world opened up again after COVID, everything started returning back to normalcy, and we started seeing a lot of so-called investors who had no idea what they were investing into. Those institutional investors took their money out, sold quite a couple of their watches. Some of those prices tanked, and you see a lot of the people who were not knowledgeable about the market losing a lot of money. And that is where we are today. We have a lot of those dealers, like you mentioned, that are running like a Ponzi scheme, still trying to sell like it's COVID-19. The market has changed.